What's up, guys? How are we doing? Peacemaker episode 6, probably the most anticipated episode of the season, dropped yesterday, and damn, it was good. It was pretty freaking short, but it was good. It clocked in at 34 minutes, including the credits and the intro. So, we're talking like 29 minutes here, but I won't bitch about it too much. The 29 minutes that we did get was pretty great. So yeah, last week ended with Peacemaker deciding to cross the portal, go to the parallel dimension, and close the portal behind him. It opens with Chris and the top trio in the other universe. They just got done killing the kaiju. They're out eating at a restaurant, still covered in kaiju guts, and Hardcore 2 is there with them, and a couple kids ask to take a picture with them, and they do. And then all of a sudden the picture gets all distorted, showing that this happy reality isn't what it seems. And then we get the intro sequence, which, if you didn't know, some YouTube channel said that they spoke with somebody that has to do with the Peacemaker series, and every intro sequence, there's one shot where they show a character, and implying that this episode is going to heavily have to do something with that character. Last week it's right at the part when it shows all of them dancing, and it shows Pony Boy and then the next person. So last week it was Red Saint Wild. This week it was Vigilante. Just thought that was a cool little detail. And so then we open with the 11th Street kids. They're outside Vigilante's mom's house, and their plan is to go in there and open the portal. And we meet Vigilante's mom for the first time, and he is so ruthless to her. She's just a sweet old lady that's happy that her son is bringing friends home, and overshares about him a little bit, embarrasses him, and he is just being so mean to her the entire time. Ma, the meatloaf. Giving those type of vibes. And, reveals that, Vigilante told his mom that he had to break up with Harcourt because she was slutty, and, so that lie comes out, and really funny. Then they go into Vigilante's secret room, which has millions of dollars in it, kilos of cocaine, heroin, weed, so every time he, busts a drug circle or whatever, he doesn't want to give it to the cops because he thinks they're corrupt. He doesn't want to flush it down the toilet. So he just keeps it there. So there's millions of dollars, shit ton of drugs. It's actually really crazy if you think about it. And there's a closet with a bunch of Beanie Babies, which in the podcast they talked about somebody tried to steal some of the Beanie Babies on set, but then return them because Beanie Babies are worth a shit ton. And that's where they do the little portal thing and open it. And whenever they do open it, cocaine just explodes all over all of them. And now they're cussing Adrian because they got cocaine on them. And they go through the dimension, and Adebayo tells them that according to Peacemaker, they just had there's a door that's supposed to have Peacemaker helmets and whatnot, and that's what they should look for. They see the xenomorph that routinely incinerates his little rat. I wonder if we're going to find out what that is by the end of it. And then we cut to Rick Flag Sr., and Agent Fruley comes in and says, addition to Peacemaker disappearing, John Economos and Harcourt disappeared too, and Rick Flag asked if they heard from Judo Master, and they say no, which is a big point. We don't see Judo Master. So, Then we go back to the 11th Street Kids and they find the door. Oh, sorry. Rick Flag asks, he calls up someone and says, I'm going to go meet a Belle Reve prisoner. And we all know who that's going to be, I think. And then we go back to the 11th Street Kids. They find the door. Adrian, of course, has the code memorized. And, yeah, they go through it. And now it's just like the entire rest of the episode is an edge of your seat. Like, oh, shit. Like, they're there. Anybody could show up at any time, and they're screwed. Very intense. And, yeah, they're like, you know, no wonder Peacemaker likes it here so much, and they go to his room, and Economos is in, I think, the bathroom, and Adebayo and Vigilante are in the closet, and Keith all of a sudden sees Harcourt and is like, what are you doing? And she slams the door in front of John Economos and then says, sorry, I just took a shit. It's rancid. And her keeping a super stone cold straight face when she said that was kind of funny. And he says that, well, you and Chris were going to Argus. I just assumed you would ride together. And she has to come up with this lie of, yeah, he dropped me off to get this random snow globe. And it's like one of the first times we see Harcourt not prepared for a situation. And he offers to give her a ride, and she takes it, which I understand why she did. You know, that would take her straight to Chris. But at the same time, man, you just entered an entirely new world, right? The worst thing you could possibly do is split up. And that's exactly what they do. Harcourt goes with him, and then Vigilante really wants to meet himself, so he leaves to go meet himself. And then, yeah, while they're riding in the truck, Keith is talking about Halloween, and apparently Mick Jagger is the lead singer of the Beatles in this universe. And Harcourt's looking around, kind of noticing, you know, that this world seems off. And Keith says a line that's interesting to me. He says that we need, what was it? We need you to class us up. I think Harcourt 2 is really evil. I think that the family wants Chris to be with Harcourt 2 for business reasons or something, because they keep kind of class us up. I'm glad Chris finally realized you were the best thing that ever happened to him, which, yeah, would be something that you would say to someone that makes your son better, but I think here there's something deeper. And then we flash to Chris and Harcourt laying in bed, and then she's taking a shower and he's shaving, and he says, hey, I'm going to go to Argus. Do you want to come with? She says, no, I got some things to do. You go ahead and go. I think something's definitely up with her. I mean, well, obviously she's evil. You know, not only was she dating Chris, you know, part of the top trio and a Nazi, basically, but, yeah. I think there's something even bigger going on with her. We'll see. Then Vigilante finds himself, and he's just having a hoot with all the little tiny differences between our world and theirs, and finds his house and like all the little different details of the lawn ornaments and the things in his house. And his dad apparently isn't gay in this universe, which he probably is. He just probably can't come out. And he goes down, and his keys work. If everything was a little off, I don't see keys working, but we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And he meets Vigilante, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I've been saying every episode, I think we're going to get a purely evil Vigilante. I was right that this Vigilante wouldn't be friends with this Peacemaker if he was a Nazi, but I thought that we were going to get a fully evil, psychopathic Vigilante since he wasn't friends with anybody, but no. He just ends up being a goofball, and Vigilante are just like, just being goofy as hell to one another. And, yeah, do the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other, and that was funny. And then we cut to Rick Flag Sr. going to the jail, Belle Reve prison, to meet Lex Luthor. And not only does Nicholas Hoult, like, I think, do a pretty damn good job, like, it's weird going from a PG-13, you know, family-friendly movie to now I get to cuss and be inappropriate, and, like, so, like, his acting and his attitude and this one scene was a little bit different, and, yeah, basically Rick Flag is talking to him and says, hey, I can, you know, I need to find this person, and maybe I can get you to another prison because Lex Luthor is over here dropping F-bombs, talking about how, you know, he wanted to destroy all metahumans. Now he's got to be surrounded by them for the next 260 years. So, and I'm really starting to not like Rick Flag, man. I liked his character in Creature Commandos, but yeah. Let's make deals with the guy that was about to destroy the world all because of Superman. Lex asks for his freedom in return, and he says, hell no, but I'll offer you a shot at redemption. Then tells him about Peacemaker and the quantum unfolding chamber, and Lex apparently has a scanning device that would be able to help Rick Flag find it. And, he says that this would be a shot at redemption. We don't know what, but we know that he's moving prisons and that this would be a shot at redemption. And so I think he's, even though we didn't see it, I think he's definitely offering him a chance to, like, if you keep working with us, you'll eventually be free, which is just like, yeah, good idea, Rick Flag. Good idea. Let's set Lex Luthor free. I'm sure he won't go and do the same shit. And yes, I know we're getting Man of Tomorrow where Lex is supposed to team up with Superman, but that's because they're going to be facing a bigger threat. After that, Lex is going to be the same old Lex. Anyway, so after that conversation, we go to... back to the... we go back to Harcourt. I think I fucked up the order of this. Sorry. We go back to Harcourt and Keith in the car, and they arrive at Argus. A dog freaks out because it smells the cocaine on Harcourt 2, or Harcourt 1. Sorry, my bad. And so now they have to isolate her and drug test her as protocol. And as she is being, you know, taken to the back room, Chris comes in and sees her, and they exchange glance at each other, and he knows that, you know, that's Harcourt 1. And that's when we go back to Vigilante, and they're over here quizzing each other on, like, what their favorite shit is, and then we find out this Vigilante hates this Peacemaker, that he dedicated his entire life to tearing down what he stands for, and joined the Sons of Liberty, officially confirming what we kind of all figured, that Chris actually ended up killing the good guys in the episode. I find it odd Chris didn't realize this, because Harcourt figured it out in like an hour, and look, I get it, plot conveniences and whatnot, but, like, he traveled to multiple different cities, and, but then again, the title of the episode is Ignorance is Chris. So maybe he just didn't want to see it because of how beautiful, other aspects of his life were. But yeah, after Vigilante says he joined the Sons of Liberty, it cuts from them. So obviously he's going to explain to this Vigilante what this Peacemaker in this universe is, and Vigilante's going to tell him that, hey, we actually ended up killing that Peacemaker, and our Peacemaker's good, and he's here. So I think we're going to end up having a little team up with 2 Vigilantes, maybe. That would be cool. And then we, I think, go back briefly to Frank Sr. after he's done talking to Lex Luthor, and tells Sasha that he's going to go to a different prison. And she asks him anything else, and he says not much other than we're partnering with them. I definitely think there was a little bit more sugar on the deal, And then we go back to Harcourt, or Adebayo and Economos, who find Eagly in the kitchen, going after cold cuts in the fridge, making a giant mess, and Economos just wants to go back to the other dimension. He's scared shitless, rightfully so. And they're cleaning up, and he's like, what if the White Dragon comes and whatnot? And it just shows them kind of him freaking out and check in on them. And then we go back to Argus, and Chris goes back while Harcourt 1 is, waiting for her drug test to be passed. And we get one of the best scenes of the whole season. I think the scene, so they have a heart-to-heart, and it's a greatly shot scene. The dialogue is great. It's so well acted between John Cena and Jennifer Holland. And he's like, why the fuck are you here? I wrote the note. And then she's like, the note was bullshit. And he says, but you knocked me out to, get good with Argus. And she's like, no, I literally saved your life. There was a cyborg pointing a gun at your head, and the only way I could save your life was to knock you out. The fact that you even thought I would do that to you hurt my feelings. And then she's like, so let's go. And he's like, but what about that night on the boat? And Harcourt really doesn't want to have the conversation, but he's pressuring her into it. And he's like, look, you keep dancing around it. Like, you didn't even let me know about Rick Flag Jr. or anything. And, like, this whole time I've been trying to go after someone whose boyfriend I killed. And she doesn't want to open up. And he's like, what about that night on the boat? I tried to talk to you about this. Like, didn't mean anything to you. And she's like, so what? If it meant something to me, you're going to come back. If it didn't, you're going to stay here. Like, that's bullshit. You need to come back home. And he's like, see, you're not answering. You keep dancing around. You won't answer. And then she just fucking lets the wall down finally and says, I'm a fucking nightmare. And it's really emotional, man. And I'm a fucking nightmare. You were right. I do go to bars to fight people just to feel something. I am fucked up, and I don't have access to my feelings like you do. And Chris, tells her that I love you anyway. And after she lets that wall down, she probably expected Chris to be like, okay, let's go back home. But instead, she's like, are you coming back? And he's like, I can't. I can't leave all these people, while ironically leaving the people that actually care about the real him. And then we go back to Adebayo and Economos, and Adebayo wants to go for a walk, asks if Economos wants to, and he says, no, I think it's safer to stay here. She says, fine, suit yourself. She starts going for a walk. Chris and Harcourt are starting to walk through Argus, and while Adebayo is walking down the street, a woman drives by her and looks at her like she's a fucking circus clown, and then Keith passes by, and the woman that saw her originally gets out and goes to the neighbor, and Keith gets out, and I had to rewind this 3 times, because he says a black, but he says something before that I just could not make out. He says, one got out, a black. And then the entire fucking neighborhood starts chasing Adebayo. Poor Adebayo, like a zombie apocalypse, like, it's crazy. And then, on top of that, Augie shows up, and Economos, he's hiding. There's an island in the kitchen, and the fridge is there, and John Economos is hiding on the other side of the island, and Augie knows it, and then pins Economos down, stabs him in the hand, and says, who the fuck are you? Why are you here? And John Economos spills all the beans. All the beans, dude. That I'm here from another dimension to save my friend who is Peacemaker, who killed your son, and isn't, like, he spills everything to Augie. And then, again, we have Peacemaker and Harcourt walking through Argus, and Harcourt's like, have you not noticed anything weird about this universe? I have not seen one person of color since we've been here. And he's like, what? No way. Which just shows, like I said, that he's like, I feel like part of him had to have known, but maybe I'm wrong. But then we finally get, the big reveal that everybody knew, that the flag in the office has a fucking Nazi symbol where the stars should be, and this is Earth X. I didn't think they were going to do it, guys. I really, obviously I knew something was racially motivated and up, but I didn't know that they were going to go as far as to actually make it Earth X. And yeah, so the one got out, a black, is definitely meaning, anybody that isn't white is in concentration camps and whatnot. Judo Master, we did not see all episode. And that's how the episode ends. And, the biggest cliffhanger ever. John Economos has Augie on top of him, hand stabbed to the floor, just spilled all the beans, and basically told Augie that his son's dead. Adebayo is being chased by an entire neighborhood, and we just found out this is Earth X. And yeah, Harcourt 2 shows up to say, hey, arrest her, that's not me. And I think she, I don't know. There's something up with Harcourt 2. And that's one hell of a cliffhanger. And the song that it ends with is, I like the credit song. It's actually pretty heavy and intense. And apparently in the podcast, James Gunn said that they tried to make him change the song, and I'm glad he didn't. Yeah, one hell of a place to leave it, and a great episode. I just wish it was longer. It's so short, and we all knew this twist was coming. In a way, I kind of wish that the intro would have just done the twist, but I get it. We needed to have this conversation between Harcourt and Peacemaker and whatnot. God, it was a really short episode. It was a great episode. My favorite episode so far this season. And yeah, now the cat's out of the bag. The 11th Street kids are really backed into a corner. And how the hell are they going to get out of this, man? How the hell are they going to get out of this? You got Argus, who's tracking the device back in Universe 1. Everybody here is screwed. They're all split up, facing their own problems. I think Judo Master is going to save Adebayo's ass. Because theoretically, Judo Master would have followed Peacemaker in, probably hid somewhere close to the house, and realized this. Probably had an interaction with somebody, beat the shit out of them, and realized, okay, I need to stay out of public sight. I bet he's going to end up saving Adebayo. And then Vigilantes, both of them, I think, will, have the same mission. But, Economos, how the fuck is he going to be, This is crazy, and I don't know how they're going to get out of this. We only got 2 episodes left. I hope to God they're a little bit longer. But this was great. And yeah, they did it. Earth X, man. That's crazy. I'm debating using that moment as the thumbnail where he reveals the Nazi flag, but I don't want to offend anybody. So, but yeah, crazy ass episode. Don't know how they're gonna get out of this situation. It had some genuinely funny moments. Then yeah, man. I just don't see how they're gonna get out of this. But yeah, Lex Luthor cameoed in this and got to drop a couple F-bombs. Apparently, we're gonna get a couple more cameos in the next 2 episodes. And my God, how are they gonna get out of this? This has been fun to review, fun to watch, and yeah, Earth X, man. They actually did it. Like I said, I wasn't doubting that like people were in concentration camps or whatever. I just didn't know if we were gonna go the full Nazis won the war. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's the world we're at. And Adebayo's getting chased down by an entire town. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching, and yeah, holy shit. Bye.